I just wanted to hope everybody had a good Easter vacation there, enjoyed times with your relatives, your dinner. And I know it's kind of limited what you can do, but I just hope everybody had a good time during these 2 weeks off. We sure have. And I've been doing a lot of homework for us, but to get back to, since we recorded about 2 weeks ago, our class size has grown approximately 200 people, which is just really, really amazing, which is cool. It's helping that many more people. So some things that I'll share tonight for the people that are in the class. It's going to be pretty cool here in a week or two. We'll be posting some really good information that's going to help our class save money, and it's just, what can I say? I'm very grateful for the help I'm going to be able to get, as well as for you folks. So anyways, as my son Garth here, and Amanda, administrator, and myself, just so everybody knows that it is new, that this is something we do for our ministry. This is something we do to help people that are in need of guidance and direction in doing the leather work, from laying patterns out to tooling to dyeing to making projects. And that's what it's all about. And we don't ask for no money. The point is that we're helping someone. And of course, in these days and times, with everything going on, this means a lot to us. And we can help one person find this as a hobby and do this as a hobby, and not do other things that isn't good for yourself or your family, etc. This is what it's all about. So anyways, basically it's a ministry, like we said. So here again, my name's Doug, of course. So to get
hey,
to
if you want to wait 1 second, I think that Max is going to get on. He just messaged me asking for the link, so maybe just give him a minute to hop on.
All right. Just take off our left.
How you doing, Doug? This is Dale.
Hi there, Dale. How you doing tonight?
Somehow I'm not hearing you.
He's not.
Tried.
I'm still not hearing you for some reason. How about now?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, now. Oh, yeah, okay. It was my fault.
It's okay. No, it's working on our end. It's just technology. Now go ahead and talk. He can hear you, Dad.
Okay. So we'll take off where I started. I guess everybody else can listen to what's been recorded. But anyways, what we're talking about here is, as we were saying here, my son and Amanda and myself are doing this on our time, and we volunteer to help folks out there that would like guidance, direction, location to save lots of money. And I'm working day to day, week to week, to save money for myself and for you. And these prices are what I would buy it for, so it's at my cost. So the important thing is, I hope people out there appreciate it. And as I recently said, we're just very surprised and grateful, of course, what this ministry is doing, because in the last 2 weeks, we've grown approximately 100 students every week. So we've gained almost 200 people since we last recorded. So anyways, let's start out with this. This here is a side of leather that's been chrome tanned. It's been embossed with a Western pattern, okay? And we're gonna try to hold this up so I think a lot of people can see that. It might be a little fuzzy, but it's like a Western pattern. I build some guitar straps, rifle slings, that you can make wallets in your imagination. You know, phone cases, wristbands. It's very cool. The surface, the very upper surface, is done silver, antique silver. So what I just was showing you there, this was the belly the belly, I sheared off the cow right here. But he was probably 2 foot longer. He was about 9 feet long, this cow. And so, and this happens to be one of my suppliers that's going to be new to help our class financially as far as cost to my students and myself. So it's really special and unique. And this is something I can't get anywhere else, you know. And so here in probably another week or so, we'll be putting the names down, the phone number of this vendor, and as far as another vendor. But so just be watching the page, and you're going to see new information pop up. So now I'll get on. There's a gentleman that I've done business with about 30 plus years, and had a really nice visit with him. And he was overly happy for what my family was doing to help people out there do leather work, let alone being a ministry to have people do something in their spare time, which of course a lot of people have in spare time that are not working and probably going crazy at home. But anyways, what was really cool, he told me, his name happens to be Rob. He says, you know what, Douglas, that's really nice. How can you do that on your own? You can't be doing that forever, you know? He says, how about this? You know, I'll help you get the leather, and you just do the talking in the ministry and help sharing your God-given talent and help other people. He was overwhelmed with what I was willing to do. And of course, I still turned around and told him that my children are involved with this too. And he was overwhelmed, as I am myself. I'm very grateful. So, and that's another one that will be about 2 weeks out, week and a half out. But this gentleman, he's going to set up a wholesale program for my students. You're going to buy the leather at wholesale, and you'll have a code you're going to have to put in. And that's about where he's talked to me about it, him helping me, which I am so grateful. But for him to set up a program for my students here, the people at my site, he didn't have to do that. So I'm very grateful for him. He's been doing leather his whole life, you know, like 41 years. So he has a very kind heart, and he wants to help me as well as the students in my class. So just keep that in mind. And let me tell you, this dude has a warehouse that can probably stock quite a few people know it's a company that's been around 100 plus years. I think you folks know who that is. But his warehouse could probably stock almost every one of their stores. That'll give you an idea how many square feet of leather this guy has in his warehouse. So quite a story to share, but I'll try to wrap that up there. But I'm really excited for us as a class, my site. Just a lot of good things happen in the next couple of weeks for you folks. So anyways, so what we're gonna get into is tooling a couple wallets, and one is called the X pattern. The other one is just like a pyramid, the shape of a pyramid. And so what we'll do tonight is we're gonna do all the tooling to the two wallets. One I have started, so you're already gonna get to see the one side finished, and then you'll see how I actually tool it on the other side. And then we're gonna tool another wallet complete. As long as we go smooth, it should be probably around an hour. So I think that's about it. But anyways, we'll get started here, okay? Okay, let's see here. Let's see if I can put that there for a second. Anyways, what we have here, folks, we're going to be doing this pattern here. I'm not sure if you can see it. It was put on the page for us. It's the X pattern. And so what I've done is we'll be posting all the pictures step by step for you folks to follow by. But what I did here is I took a piece of poster board, and this is 9 3/8 by approximately 3 5/8. Okay. And so what I did is, so I don't mess up the tooling leather kit, because I know a lot of people went to Springfield Leather and bought the kit, and that's not cheap. So the goal is to do it once and do it right. And so we don't want to mess nothing up. So take that time for the cost of a piece of poster board, an extra half hour, it's worth every single penny. So anyways, what we have here is you're going to come in a 1/2 inch on your edges, the 3 edges, okay? And this here, excuse me, this here is 1 inch across here, okay? A lot of people in working with leather, they don't realize this is called your breaking point. In other words, in this area here, when the leather billfold or checkbook cover, etc., if the leather's bent, it can possibly crack. And of course, you won't want that. So that's the reason you don't do tooling in that area, because it weakens the area of your project, such as, like I say, a wallet, a checkbook cover, and other cases, of course. So then when you fold that, that's going to look just like this here. And you can see that's where it's going to bend. And if that was bent too hard down, and some customers, they'll grab it and twist it. That feels nice. And now you see a nice, beautiful crack in your leather. So that's why you don't tool in that area right here. So let's get started on this one, the X pattern. So here's what it looks like complete on this side when that's done. Okay. And you can see this is the area, there's no tooling. Okay. So we're going to start over here on this side. And what we've done here, excuse me, is you're going to draw from corner to corner over here on both sides. And then what you'll be doing is taking the craft tool or the tool, a veiner. This happens to be the 407, which all this information is on our page. So what I'll do, this is going to be the first tool that happens right here. So I'm going to wet the leather with warm water, not hot water. So that's important, very important. And when you wet it about half the thickness. Especially when you're dealing with, lightweight leather such as billfold, and in that case. So about half the thickness. Okay, so what we're going to do is where this X crosses right here, it's really hard to see now that it's wet, is I'm going to take the 407 and put it up to the back of that line right there on all 4 points. Can everybody see that all right? Okay. As you can see, I'm just baby tapping it. So we have some really nice depth there. It's going to hold a finish such as an antique. And we're going to do it all the way around now. Okay, so what I've done from here, I took my wing dividers. Hopefully things are still set straight because of getting things moved around in that. Let me see, it's right here. Okay. So anyways, what we're going to do next is we're going to set the wing divider for the distance. This is a V400, the V400. Okay. So what we're going to do is take the wing dividers and set it the distance of the V400. We're getting there. A little more. Okay. So now what we'll do is we're going to start right in the tip. I'll do 1/4 first so you get to see it. So there's 3 sets of dots. They're consistently the same distance apart. You're going to do it on all 4. So hopefully that everybody's gotten their kit all right. And they got there in time. I know a few people commented that they did. Okay, so we got the dots, set the distance apart of the V400 right here. So now what you're going to do is come back and grab your 407, the Vayner 407. And you carefully hold it, put your little finger inside the radius, and then watch, make sure you set each point on the dot that you put with your wing dividers. Because everyone needs to be the same distance apart, every single one, for this to turn out correctly, of course. Gotta get this side a little bit deeper. See, if you would have got it too wet, this tool can drop in there real easy and go through your leather. And you definitely don't want that. And there again, you notice I simply call this your baby tapping it, because it takes nothing to go through a 3-ounce piece of leather. I get the back of this one for some reason. Tip that back. So there we're halfway there. Everybody looking at that, see that all right? Is that good? All right.
Okay, so I'm going to check it over and see. And I would say this one here on those ends could be tapped a little bit more, simply because you want that thing to hold your stain when it comes time to do your antiquing, as we call it. There we go. Okay, so now we have all four sides are done now on that. So now what we're going to do, we're going to connect, put the 400 in between the tips of the 407 veinner. So sometimes it overlaps, sometimes it's right on the money. I mean, there again, it's hand done. This particular tool had a really high arch to it. Some of the B400 that when you buy them, they don't have such a high arch to them. So all these tools are, made by hand, most of them, as years past anyways, and they were done in Fort Worth. So instead of turning back and forth and flipping around, I'm just turning it a quarter wallet so I can, there again, we're going to do that. And there again, you're doing it by hand. It's not perfect. And so, as you know, when this gets done in the end, it's gorgeous. It really is. And you can do it multicolors. You can do it blue. I really like blue. I did the blue color with the natural going across the center, and then black on the edges, and then tan. That's a nice one too, which you see in the picture. And then just doing traditional light brown antique, earth tone brown. Those are all really nice colors. I'm rocking it here to make sure I'm in the same marks on the tool. Okay, so I went all the way around now on one side. And so now we'll flip it and do the other side. Doesn't take much to set the tool in. And I mean, I'm way back on the hammer, but I'm just tapping it. But that's because of the type of mallet I have. And there's possibly good news there even too. A lot of things, kind of going pretty good as far as different suppliers gonna help us, our class, myself, and boy, oh boy, I am so grateful. But anyways, I believe from the past when I manufactured these mallets that we run across the handles and screws, and I found a place where I can buy the stock for them to build them. And so now we just kind of have to figure out time and cost. And when I made these mallets last, it was probably 15 years ago. So of course stuff is up in price, especially the nylon. And let's see, more here. Okay, and I'm looking at this, and this is 1, 2, 3 on this side. As you'll see, we've got 3 of them, 1, 2, 3, and over here 1, 2, 3, both sides. And now that high, I call it the high round spot here in the center, is really cool. Sometimes, like this particular line in there, again, you'll notice these other 3 were pretty much right on the money, right down the center. This one, for some reason, it was off a little bit. it's more to the top. So anyways, the F926 is going to take care of that anyway. So you're not going to have to worry about that. So keep that in mind. So now we're done with this tool here. So now what we'll do, we'll get into closing the edges off next. But we're just getting a little bit on the dry side, so we're going to wet it here lightly. And of course, I wipe the other side as well. Some people wonder why you keep wiping the other side. Well, the more you wipe just one side, it can take, some of the tanning solution off there. You might get a little lighter shade than the other. So, and sometimes if this is too wet and this isn't, and this dries first, and this is still wet, you can actually create a moisture ring where it dried. So it's always important to wet the entire thing. So what we'll do is we're going to get into Springfield Leather has these. This is the Crafted Japan K153L and 153 right. So basically what you have here is 3 of these will go down each side. And they're more to the tight side, as you'll see right here. They hold pretty tight together. So just, you really want to pay attention when you're doing it. Don't let them get too far apart. And we're going to start with the right one over here. Bring it and set it down. Okay. And then that way you get to see exactly how it's set up. And you want to try to do it this way so you're less starting and stopping. So I put this one side to the other. And so what I'll do now is grab the other one and come over here, and they're kind of tight together. So I'm going to pull them in just a little bit. And then the other side, we'll pull that in a little bit. That way we're going to do our best to keep them consistent, the same distance apart. So there we are, both sides. And what I look at when I'm doing this is I look at those 2 points right there, how much gap there is right there. So we'll see how good I did here. All right. This one might be a little tight. Yeah, see, it's a little tighter there to the center. And of course, you do your best to try to cut the line off so people are not seeing that with your work. So 3 on each side. So this one, I'm going to just keep moving because we're hoping to get the other wallet tools as well. I think this one's actually going to be a little bit better than the other side, maybe, or close to the same. Maybe. I think these are going to be pretty darn equal all the way across. So now we're going to do the ends here. And that does exactly 2 of them. Okay, so now we've done the K 153 left and right all the way around all four sides. 3 and 3 and 2 and 2, 2 on the ends, 3 on each side. So now what we're going to do, we're going to grab the F926 right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to, let's get these points right here. We're going to come in and just use the very, very tip. I mean, you really want to grip your fingers super tight. That little finger, really hold that tight because it can get out of hand real easy if you don't. And you're just going to barely tap it because you only want basically the first, as you'll see right there. And then we're going to do it on the ends here. I think on the other end, I might even left these out. I'm not sure, but we're going to go ahead and put them in anyways, just for fun. Okay, so we're not going to want to put them in here because it's going to affect the look in the corners here. So we're going to put them here and here, and then the 3 on each end. Okay, so now what we're going to do here, and there again, you notice it's still just about perfect, the moisture. We're going to come right in and put the F926 down those four sides. And so you're going to want to put the tip, I'll show you here. So you can see how careful I am with this. So there's that. So we're going to go around and do the other 3 sides now. And one more here. Okay, so now that is done all the way around there. So now what we have here now is we're going to put in, let's put in our, this is called the basic diamond. They were made in California. Tool number on that is 13. So we're gonna do our best, and we're gonna take it right here. And as you can probably barely see because the moisture here, we're gonna set it and close these 4 diamonds off and cut the lines off. So it's hand done. You can see it's off there a little bit in the center. These are a little tighter. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the Kelly diamond, the 305 diamond. And you can kind of see where it's going to go here now. Kind of see where it's going to go. And that, of course, is what's going to close off the line that we used when we put in the V400. Yeah, I'm very grateful for these people out there that I'm able to get to talk to them. They're getting to know me, and a lot of them already know me, but they didn't know about the ministry my children and me were doing. And so they're very good-heartedly. They try to help as much as they can. And, you know, you have to look at what they've dealt with during this mess, let's say with the pandemic, trying to make their bills too. And, you know, they really don't have to, but, you know, my friendship, my relationship over 30 plus years, they know where my heart is. And so there again, I'm very grateful for them. They didn't have to do that. So. Yeah, I think what threw this off, I should have maybe turned the 407, the Vayner in closer to the center. This was winged out further, and that's what created this issue here, just so you know. And there again, it's handmade, so you can't expect perfection. You just do it to the best of your ability. And so as usual, I put one right here, so it kind of connects the other 305 where those go up the side. It just kind of fills it in nicely for you. Okay. So there we are there. And I think that's everything for that. So anyways, that's the X pattern. And we'll be doing that, dying to that next week. I think there's some information Amanda will have posted on there for you. And it's going to be about what this needs to, what you have to do to this area right here for yourself. So when we go to do class next week, things will be accomplished and get finished for all of us, you know, which is really cool by having that done a step ahead of time, and we can stay within the hour time frame. And as you've seen, I pulled that over the end of the granite to kind of get that to round like that. Because if I didn't do that, what would happen is this would dry like a horseshoe the other way. The edges would turn up and it would be bent the other way. So you can see how that is right now. So when that's done and it's dry, it's gonna lay nice and flat just like that. So we're gonna get on to the next wallet here again. Okay, so the next one, this is going to be, I call this the pyramid pattern here, which is on page 2. We're going to be doing black here and neutral, and then blue will be done there. So there again, take the time, and I'm going to put these tools back in here. So of course they're not misplaced, which is very easy around here. Let's see, Not gonna need that. Or that one. This one. Gonna still need the V400. And we'll be using the F916. Okay, and we'll then be using the, let me see if those are out here. If not, I'll have to reach around and grab those. But what we'll do here is, you'll see, you're gonna take your blank of wallet leather that you got in your kit. And there again, this pattern requires, there again, same thing, you're coming in a 1/2 inch from the edges, the ends, from the edges to the ends. And you'll mark those, of course, so you keep it square when you draw the line. And this is the center of the distance here. And this will be tooled, which will create the pyramid for your design. So that's the reason that is put there as well. So there again, water that you kind of wash your hands with, not cold, not hot. Okay, so there again, we're gonna lay that right on top of there. Make sure you're square. Then take your modeling tool and set it in place. Okay, so now we have our dots there in location where we're going to draw the line. So you got to make sure we're set here at a 1/2 inch. Looks about right. Just double check things. That one looks like it needs to come in just a touch. And all the kind of look right here. Yeah. Okay. So we'll get this marked here. And there again, in case you didn't hear, it's a 1/2 inch. And what I did is I did purposely, I came in with my modeling tool and I didn't push straight down. I marked it at an angle. So that way, when I drew the line, I didn't take the dot off and erase the dot, of course. That was the reason I did that on both ends. So I still know the location where the center line is. That's the purpose for that. So there again, I take my ruler and I'm gonna lay it on here. Line your dots up. You want to set the modeling tool into the dot first and make sure it touches the ruler. Come down, it touches the ruler, and then draw your line. And we're done with the wind dividers for now. Okay, so we have those in place. So now we need to draw our line down the center. Okay, so now we have everything set up for doing our tooling here. So what we'll do first is we're going to start with our V407. How are we doing on time?
It's 6:53 your time, so it's
So-
about 15 minutes from an hour.
All right, we should be fine. Okay, so what we'll do, the ends are looking at, this side looks a little more dry, and then this is more dry than this. So I'm going to tool this first while this is setting up. So that way I don't tool it too wet, and this is about perfect. Okay, and start in the corner. If I recall right, there's 6 on this. We'll drive it on the clock. And of course, when there's 3 and add 1, then you want to eyeball from each side so it looks the same. Instead of just keep tapping one direction, then it's big time off. See, so I'm splitting the difference. Guess I should have pulled them a little closer together. Well, I felt that one drop on me. And down here. So I'm going to pull those in a little bit closer to each other as I go. This should be a little better now. Yeah, right there. As grandfather always said, you get in a hurry and you'll mess up every time. And my son, of course, has heard that quite a few times. So, of course, that one is much better, more consistent, where this was off a little bit. But there again, when that next tool will go in, it's going to eliminate the view of that anyway. So those little, tidbits there, you don't have to worry about that. That's the reason other tools are put into place to eliminate the view of the inconsistency. And there again, a lot of people I see on the sites, they get it too wet and it all stretched out of shape, and and that's like I was showing you how you only wet it like half the thickness, and then you don't try to drive it through with one hit, of course. Pulling that in a little bit. So we should be on track if everything goes right. Let's see here. Maybe a little more. Tiny bit. That looks good right there. Yeah, you always want to try to get your beginning and end taken care first, and then work out the difference in between, instead of trying to jam it in all at one area. I mean, all at one end is what I mean. Okay, so those are done. So now you're gonna put 2 and 2, 2 and 2. So there's gonna be 4 on the ends, 6 on the sides. Now I think I'm gonna tap it right over here a little more. There we go. So how often do you folks get a chance to do your leather work? Just on the weekends or a little bit during the week, or is it just Dale out there?
Yeah, I'm here, but yeah, I don't get a lot of chance to work on it right now because all my stuff's packed in my garage.
Okay, you don't get a whole lot of chance to do it.
Yeah, we're actually in the process of cleaning my garage, so that and I have a space for it. So
All right, just a minute. I can't quite hear you. We're gonna up the volume. All right, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a place in my garage. I just don't have the I can't get to it right now.
Oh, okay.
So as soon as I clean out the 2-car part of my garage, then we're going to clean out the 1 part where my shop is.
Right, right. Yeah, really, it takes a lot. I mean, you can start out tooling, but sooner or later you got to have that spot to put your stains, and otherwise you get it all over your tooling bench, etc. You don't want that, so it does take a decent amount to have an area set up. I remember my grandfather, he helped me build my first tooling bench, and that was probably 32 by 8 foot. And I had to leave this little spot on the end to do my dyeing. So you always had to get things moved out of the way and all that. And then eventually I got another bench the same size, except I made that like 3 foot by 8 foot. This is a lot easier. Okay, so now we're going to go down the center here, and there again we're going to go with 6 again, and we're gonna stick the nose of that tool right in here when we take off. That way there shouldn't be a problem getting 6. So I believe I'm going to check this here quick and see if it's 6 or 5. Okay, excuse me. We're going to put 5 in there. I just double checked. So we're going to be putting 5 in there, not 6. So in this now, we'll put 1 at each end. And then we'll put the other one right in the center. And there's probably going to be a little space.
Doug, that doesn't look right. I think shouldn't it still be 6 because you have 6 along the bottom?
Right. And then I double checked myself because of this here, and I caught myself. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I figure, I better check that again. So I'm glad I looked at the picture first. Yeah, you're right. But I said, I don't know if that's 6. That might be a little crowded. So I just I figured I better double check, and I'm glad I did because of it would have been really some cramped space. And the other thing from the past learning, excuse me, is you got to come all the way up with 1 when you're doing the pyramid. And then what happens is it's so tall and steep, it gets right into your border. And of course, you don't want that. That one's raised up a little bit. I'm going to pull it in a little further. Yeah, I think 6 would have been really, really cramming it. Boy, this one seems really, really a lot there. I don't know why. I'm in. I don't know, maybe the side stretched. I don't know. Lordy, that's going to be huge. Well, we'll see what happens.
You have one over right next to you to your right. The wall that you were working on before.
I mean, this side must have really stretched or something, because normally, yeah, there's 5 right in the center. I'm not sure why it. Yeah, I had to look 3 times. I don't know why. Maybe because it was the bifold, not an end fold, but it still should look fine. We'll have it, plus it'll leave a little more space for the tools that are going to go in there, which is going to be the F926, and I think the other is the F921. I think it's left and right, if I recall. I'm not sure if that's even written down. I think it should be. I could feel that one drop. It shifted even a tiny bit with me. All right, now we'll get down here to business. Basically, you're setting the 407 directly in between where 2 join below is what you're actually doing here. And coming up, of course, each side, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so there's the 1/2 there. It's pulling together. It's not as bad now when you start getting that put together. Less noticeable. I'm gonna stick with this half over here. It's looking. I might have to wet it though once I get down to the other end here. Billfold's kind of getting dry, so it's wanting to slide around a little bit. So I'm gonna have to wet it here as soon as I get this tool here put in. Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe that might be the bifold instead of folding from the end. I'm not sure. But boy, I had to look at that 3 times and okay, let's not do it. Just do what the picture says, Okay. Well, that went in really nice on one side. This particular 407 too, just so you kind of know, it's got a few years on it. It was in my beginner set, and that of course was 1970. So it's got some wear. There's no doubt about that. I'm sure just a few million. Yeah, this is probably the longest part of it because there's so much of it. They seem to be really holding a lot of pressure to the left side. I'm not sure. Yeah, that or that side isn't. The other side's wore more from tooling. Oh, there we go. And that one had dropped in there for me. Okay, so anyway, what we have now, in this is we're gonna go with the grass tool, as I call it. It's the F916. That's gonna go around the edge, fill in the gap where they joined. And there again, I'm just gonna tap that so it's still in there. In this particular tool has a flat spot in the very bottom and a little tiny angle on each side. So you really try to pay attention to the very bottom where that flat spot is. It can be very tricky at times, let me tell you. And the other thing that just sharing my experience on that, the border tool cutter, okay, that I found with Springfield leather, okay. It's just important to show you folks. If you recall this tool here, okay. I noticed myself, you can't put a lot of pressure down on that when you tighten it. That plastic cracks pretty darn easy. And that's like $3, $4. Believe you me, it's worth the wait of 4 weeks basically. And get this here. It's a solid piece of steel, nickel plate. I mean, it's got a beautiful finish on it. And you know that's never going to go anywhere. That'll last the rest of your life. The only thing that I'm going to do with it myself, I'm going to get like a key, like you can buy at the hardware store. And I'm going to cut a piece of key metal right here and set it right in there for myself. So the blade can never tip and drop into this cavity here. So I hope everybody sees that all right. But yeah, that was $10, $10 for that. So it's worth every single penny, and you're never gonna have to worry about it cracking. And there again, it's a learning experience, and hopefully, if you haven't bought that yet, that's gonna save you some money because I got to experience it. Okay, so we've closed off the edge all the way around. So we're done with the 407 veinter through the center, the edges. We've taken the F916 and we've closed off the connections where those veiners join. So any inconsistency, you just eliminated the view from that. So let's see that. Might have to sneak them on the camera here. Let's see what else is in here. Okay, this one. This is the F872, the S624, which is the cedar down the middle. And I have to grab, let me see what I have here. Hang on. Try not to bump the light here. I thought for sure I had left them out. This isn't like me, that's for sure. Not having my tools together. Maybe I had it left out. I'm not seeing that. That's not cool. All right, so what we'll do then is we're gonna put the F926 up through all of them. And I can't seem to find that for some reason. Frustrating. Give me one more minute. This is so aggravating. I want to double check myself. Yeah, there they are. How about that? Praise the Lord. Okay, so that now 921 left and right. When you look in on the page, you'll get to see that that's going to come up each side on the outside here. So that is going to be the next step, by the way. Yeah, I'm not sure why I didn't have it set now or in my smaller tool rack in front of me. So there it is on each side coming up. Just something I came up with one day in my head. So I tapped it down. I thought it looked pretty cool and kind of different. So now I'm going to take the opposite side, the 921 right, and we're going to come up the other side. This is probably a design from the late 70s that I did. Sounds funny when thinking my age. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so the F921 left and right. There it is there. That's where it's going to go. So now what we do is we're going to take the F926 and we're going to come right up the center. And I'll do one side first here so you get to see it. So you're going to put the point of it right up in the center widest spot of your 407 is what you're going to do. It's going to be 2, 1, and then 1 on top. And this tool here, boy, when we go to stain this, it looks so nice. But here you go. So you can kind of see here, right up the center. Okay, so put that on both sides here. We're just about got this thing complete. Boy, that one wanted to drop in really quick on me. Okay, so there's that. Put on both sides. Now we're gonna put the cedar, that's 624 on there. We'll put that right down, and that's gonna close the line off for us that we followed with our veiner. There we go. The S624. So I'll just carefully tip that down in there, tap it lightly. That's going to take off the line we used, as I just said, to take away the view for us setting our 407 in. And it doesn't take a moment, probably. I think I'm just going to grab the pear shader, if I can recall from Back in the day, it was P206. It shouldn't take but a second to tap that around. So we're pretty much exactly like the picture, which truthfully I prefer myself. Let's see here. That one's a little big. I know they're going to be laughing. There it is. I found it. Yep. Yep. P206. That actually was in my beginner's kit in 1970. So as you can see here, kind of the layout of it, how it is. I'm putting the back into the corner, the fatter end of it off into the corner. Okay, so whoops, I had one more here, right here. Okay, so there we've got it in the four corners like we see in the picture. So the next two, they're just tipped away with the wider end facing. So basically straight out and straight out. Just build the cavity. Okay, this in here and we should have it. Yeah, I'm much happier now because it's gonna be exactly like what's in the picture that we're gonna be doing. All right, so there again, we're putting 3 in each corner of the P206. So we should have the same look. So just show you this quick, you can see what the wallet is doing here, how it's wanting to bow and give us a crooked, and we want that to dry nice and flat. So I'm not sure if you can see this. I'm going to come down here and carefully, gradually grab the end and just gradually pull it over, come from the other direction and pull it over. And now you have it where these edges are nice and flat for us. And so when we set it down, it dries and it's nice and flat. So I think, oh, see right there, I caught myself. Look at there. Right there, we got to put one there, the F926. See, got in a hurry, didn't I? So let's drop that right there. Okay, we'll double check now, being I did that. I think we got everything now. Okay, so I hope everybody enjoyed the class today, and we'll have both of these wallets ready for dyeing next week. And Amanda will share with you what needs to happen and what type of finish will go into the X pattern on your wallet. So anyways, I'll let Amanda take over the voice now. Have a good week.
Thank you, Doug.
Yep.
All right, so he wants you guys to do the Angelus acrylic finisher on that X pattern. I believe he said a couple of coats should be fine. That way, when we meet next Sunday to dye them, they'll be ready to go and there won't be drying time in between. I'll post a picture of that on the Facebook group so everybody knows what to look for as far as what they need to use. And then after next week, we're going to switch to every other week. It kind of lands on holidays coming up here. And I think we'll probably carry on with that throughout summer, and then potentially go back to every week starting in the fall. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and let me know. And if not, we'll go ahead and cut the class. And thank you everybody for coming.
All right, thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.